Thank you very much. Lovely to see you. Please, gentlemen, take your seats, and I'm going to do an introduction to this session. We're going to be talking, indeed, about multilateral collaboration, how we harmonize standards, policy frameworks, and integrate things like financing across multilateral organizations to make sure that climate objectives are not being tried to achieve in silos. We see this a lot. Often solutions are emerging in isolation. So how do we get multilateral organizations to work more harmoniously to join the dots on that? Now, I am joined on stage, as you can see here, by a very esteemed panel. So if you'll allow me just a minute or two to introduce them properly so you can get the context for this conversation. Joining me immediately to my left is His Excellency Antonio Basilio, who is Director of the APEC Business Advisory Council. Now, a lot of you know APEC as the premier Asia-Pacific Economic Forum, supporting sustainable economic growth and prosperity. The APEC Business Advisory Council is the private sector arm of APEC. So Antonio speaks to us from that perspective. To his left is His Excellency Sergio Kanowski, who is Executive Secretary of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Business Council. Now, again, many of you in this room know the important work that the SCO does as the world's largest regional organization. Well, the SCO Business Council fosters economic cooperation, trade and investment amongst those SCO member states, bringing together business and financial leaders to promote cross-border businesses and projects across the Eurasian region, so he can speak to us from that perspective. And certainly not least, His Excellency Erik Solheim, former Under-Secretary General of the United Nations. A pleasure to see you, sir. Norwegian diplomat and former politician, served in the Norwegian government from 2005 to 2012 as Minister of International Development and Minister of the Environment, and as Under-Secretary General of the UN and Executive Director of the UN Nations Environment Programme from 2016 to 2018. So you get the picture here. We have got these gentlemen representing huge swathes of the world, multilateral organizations, and we're going to get straight to it. Sir, Antonio Basilio, and talk to you about the APEC Business Advisory Council, because you sit in a very unique position there, bridging business leaders, heads of government. So talk to me about how that bridge can be used more deliberately so you can hardwire policy coherence.
Thank you, Rosanna, for the question, and good morning, everyone. Let me add a little more to your brief introduction about the organization I represent, ABAC, the APEC Business Advisory Council, which was created in 1995 by APEC leaders to provide advice to senior officials, ministers, and leaders on issues that impact on the growth, economic growth of the region, which the leaders have now defined as being inclusive, sustainable, and driven by innovation. So APEC itself is an informal organization. I mean, it's a formal organization, but it's not a formal trade agreement. So everything that's taken up is voluntary, non-binding, and it works on consensus. So because of the way this APEC is organized, member economies are able to introduce new topics, new ideas, which in a formal setting might be difficult to undertake. So once these are refined, if they require global implementation, then they're brought to the WTO, for example. And I can cite two examples, and that's the Information Technology Agreement, which provides for zero treatment for computers, electronic items, and all that. Now, ABAC itself is made up of 3 members from each member economy, so they're appointed by the leaders. So it's important that they're appointed by the leaders, because that means their personal relationship or they know each other, which is important to subsequently to how they can hardwire policies, as you said, as you mentioned. And one good example of that is the APEC Food System. APEC Food System was introduced by ABAC in 1998, and then it was adopted by leaders in 1999. The approach is a whole of system approach to food security. So instead of focusing in the beginning just on market access, the food system looks at the whole agriculture value chain, agri-food value chain, from production to consumption. And it includes or focuses on private-public sector collaboration, looking at new technology to improve productivity, so smart agriculture, things like that, and also to promote sustainability, like better water management. So there's already a buy-in on the relationship between energy, between sustainability, food security, inbuilt into the food system. And APEC, my organization's main input, is done through the policy partnership on food security. And that's the one that meets regularly and sends their suggestion or conveys their proposals to ministers and to the leaders.
So it's having the systems in place and the appointments process in place to ensure that you have those types of partnerships happening all along the chain. Your Excellency, Mr. Kanowski, I'm going to come to you on, we've got this new SCO Development Bank coming online. Talk to me about how that can really coordinate with other institutions, thinking about things like the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the New Development Bank, which a lot of people in this room will be familiar with, and of course domestic investors. Talk to us about how those types of financing institutions can work together to finance projects.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Thank you for all people here, and thank you for organization countries to give me opportunity to speak this on the forum. Of course, the decision about the Bank of Development was deleted in Tianjin summit. It's a very important summit, very good opportunity to say that there was make a very big historically program that summit. And now we are just on the half of our way. It's not so fast, it's not so easy to establish one of the new financial system. Of course, we need some financial systems, and we use already some of that. We have a very good relationship with this bank, you said, and of course we organize our own, some kind of low-level groups of bank to support projects, support directly projects. And this is our task, this is our mode. So Business Council is one of the official structure in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization who organized the privilege project on the base of private business. We, of course, have a very good cooperation with the government system, but government, is sometimes moving not so fast. We need fast money for long term. So this is why we just announced that we established a new financial system, but not yet, unfortunately, not yet. But we are looking fast, moving fast, and we think that maybe next year it should be established as well.
Fast money for long term.
Fast money for us now.
Working across governments and private sector financing institutions.
Yes. I'm talking about some kind of venture projects.
Yeah. I'll come back to you and talk more about some of the projects shortly. I want to get to His Excellency Mr. Solheim, because you speak from the background, obviously, of having been with the United Nations for a long time, and you would have seen during that time that, of course, we've got multiple regional climate agendas all moving at once, which is a good thing to see. But how do we unify that? Do you think we're getting better at aligning global efforts when it comes to climate projects, or are we still working in silos?
Look, the answer to your question is, of course, that we need a stronger United Nations, and we need all the different initiatives which you hear about here, the Shanghai Cooperation, the APEC, and so many others. But the United Nations is in its deepest crisis ever, as the weakest leadership ever, but I'm happy to come back to that. But let me focus on where I see the action, the positive way forward. Because there have been two huge shifts in the world in the last decades. I mean, I was first time in the climate conference in Bali in 2007. Since then, there are two massive shifts. One is a shift from a Europe-led world on the environment to an Asia-led world. 10 years ago, the European Union was by far the most advanced place for any green solution? Well, now China is by far the most advanced place for any green solution. And India is coming also very, very fast. So we have moved from a Europe or Western-centered world to an Asian-centered world. And the other is diplomacy don't matter that much any longer. It's all about business. The great action is not in the diplomatic conferences. I was here in Dubai, I'm not here, but in Dubai 2 years ago to the climate talks. It matters, but the action is in business. And let me give you 2 practical examples from the blue economy, bringing water into the picture. The Kobochi Desert is just nearby Beijing. Back in the days, huge sand and dust storms were hitting Beijing from Kobochi, until a young entrepreneur started seeing the desert as a business opportunity, not a threat. Planting trees, big scale, and then developing renewable energies like solar in the desert, planting all the plants which can thrive in very, very dry circumstances, like, say, Chinese traditional medicines, and developing ecotourism. Well, I took my son there, and he was amazed by going in the desert by small cars. So the transformation came when you didn't see the desert as a threat, but a business opportunity. And I'm happy to say Kobochi is the most advanced development of a desert anywhere in the world, setting an example for what everyone else can do all over the planet. Business and ecology, one process. Another example, I was just in the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, a company called Greenco has now developed the largest integrated solar, wind, and hydropower as pumped storage facility in the world. It works like this. In daytime, Andhra Pradesh is blessed with the sun. They use the sun to pump up the water from the lower to the higher reservoir. They release the water at night, and then you get 24 hours of energy powered by solar and wind, and with the pump storage as a battery, working throughout, and it's the largest in the world. There is nothing like this in Europe. There's nothing like that in the United States of America. Only China has anything similar to the Andhra Pradesh facility. It's 6.5 gigawatt. How much is that? Well, one comparison is that it's more than the entire grid in Nigeria, which is the largest nation in Africa, is double the entire hydropower capacity of Nepal, which is a massive hydropower nation. So this is large. And it comes from one concept. Green is gold. Going green can create prosperity. There is no longer a choice between ecology and economy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that's the way forward. For the first time in human history, there is a way to prosperity, which is green.
What I'm hearing there, business first, allow business to lead, like you're saying, and then everyone else can catch up, and government can obviously be on board, but if you want to see that kind of progress, you've got to allow innovation to happen, which you're seeing more, you're saying, through Asia, through the Middle East and onwards, less so in the West.
I mean, that's what the business hub is all about. I saw all the green companies from all over the world here because they want to exhibit what they can provide. And there is no doubt solar energy will be the dominant energy in the 21st century, absolutely no doubt. And we see all the amazing innovations now happening. In India now, solar energy with battery storage is cheaper than coal. Solar is the cheapest energy anywhere in the world. So solar is now a business opportunity, not just an environment good thing to do.
I can say that in that situation, please remember that business must supported by government.
Absolutely, the government need to make the framework and the vision and the standards, for sure.
Support it in, give a money, give a prosperity, give some kind of new energy of business. It's necessary to support business, and it's the main idea about that.
Absolutely, but you don't really need international conferences. The Chinese government can set the rules for China. Prime Minister Narendra Modi set the rules for India, and then you make the framework which make business thrive. And of course, exactly the same will be the case in
We're speaking
UAE.
about some specialization. So, for example, in Shanghai Cooperation Organization, we have a lot of countries, and now Arabic Middle East countries there as a partner working with so countries, but they have their own specialties, and China own specialties. So we need to cooperate, need to understand each other, and develop regional cooperation for the high level.
And do you think that's possible?
Yes, I think it's possible. We have such good institute for that. Inside the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, we have Business Council, we have Regional Forum, we have multinational bank organization as well. But it's not enough.
There can always be more. And I'm taking your point about government creating the environment for businesses to be able to lead like that.
Yes.
I will come back to you. I want to bring in His Excellency Mr. Basilio on that because, you've got APEC's private sector we're talking about for development banks, sovereign wealth funds, all of them active in these types of climate solutions, but often separately. Talk to us about what you're doing at the APEC Business Advisory Council to make sure they're working together to finance projects.
Okay, well, here you face several different challenges. One, of course, is how to structure the project because it incorporates the three elements that you mentioned, digital technology, energy security, and food security, which is not easy. Second, it's cross-border, so it involves other countries as well with different policies, regulations, and favorite technology, for example. So that makes also fair access benefits a little trickier, and also the choice of technology. And the third is to bring in the sovereign wealth fund and private sector investment. You have to make the projects bankable. So if I can give an example, in the case of APEC, and again, I refer to the APEC Food System, and the subsequent roadmap that was drawn up in 2022, in which each individual countries or collectively undertake certain actions to achieve food security. So it's important that there be government buy-in. The fact that they signed on to the roadmap means that there's already buy-in from governments, but you probably need to emphasize this by saying that projects in the future involving food security must also incorporate sustainability issues like energy, etc. Also, with regards to avoiding technology lockup, the APEC Food System recognizes that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. So they recognize that each economy, each country have their own technology, and means to achieve food security, including the use of traditional methods of farming. So it's not prescriptive, but it allows individual economies or countries. In APEC, we use economies because of certain conventions. So in case people don't understand why I keep mentioning economies instead of countries. So if you have, if for example, we say this demonstration project is on rice production, that will involve the use of solar or wind energy to power irrigation pumps, and also hydrogen production, for example, through electrolysis of water, also becomes part of that integrated process. And because it's a single project pipeline, it becomes more attractive to the private sector. And the fact that you have MDBs like AIIB or ADB investing in the project, in the initial stage, it will be probably to induce policy reforms within government. So that makes the project become more attractive because you create the kind of enabling environment that will induce sovereign wealth fund and private sector investment to invest in that demonstration project.
So once again, hearing that you've got to create that environment, but as you were saying, there are also the case studies, the projects that are happening. That is what helps with getting these things financed. I want to come to you, Mr. Kanowski, on that, on projects in the Eurasian region. Are there any that you can point to to give us some real-world context about the work that you do with the SCO, about the ways that mechanisms at a multilateral level have been harmonized to ensure that projects get off the ground. Is there something you can point to, perhaps in one of the countries that you work across?
You see, I said that we are not enough structure, so we organize our own structure inside the Business Council and Secretary of Business Council. We have a platform in each country, few or one platform for each country. Of course, we are very interested to developing the project about the pure water, the safe energy, the green energy. We have in our pocket a lot of such programs. As such, we have opened it already. One very interesting center in St. Petersburg, and we have a cooperate always our platform. St. Petersburg, Tsingtao, Beijing, Astana, Almaty, Krasnoyarsk, Ufa, and because of our new partners established here, we want to make some platform here in Abu Dhabi, maybe Dubai as well. So we think this is a good mechanism to realize all the projects concerning the green energy as well.
And coming to you, Mr. Solheim, because you said you would come back to me on this about the effectiveness, the efficacy of multilateral organizations. Where do you think the international system is falling short at the moment? But to end on a positive note, what do you think can be done to ensure better collaboration across multilaterals?
I think there are three main weaknesses with the UN which need to be fixed. One is the UN is stuck in the paradigm of 1945. The UN was established by basically one man, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and then President of the United States, in 1945. It was absolutely brilliant at the time, but it's stuck in that paradigm. I mean, look, India, at that time, India was a colony under the United Kingdom. Now India is the third largest economy in the world, fastest growing large economy in the world, a huge civilizational state, and of course much, much, much more important to the world than the United Kingdom and France. India is not on the Security Council, nor is Africa there. Africa will soon be 2.5 billion people, and it's not on the Security Council, while the United Kingdom, sorry for you, because I know you're Brit, 60 million people is there. It's, of course, need to be fixed. Second, UN is stuck in absolutely bureaucratic, procedure-focused way of operating, not people-centered. Must be out there with the people, centering on how we can help people. That's why many of these other institutions are more efficient, because they center more on the people. And lastly, sorry to say, the UN has the weakest and most incompetent leadership in the history of the institution. But that will be fixed next year, because then the United Nations will elect a new Secretary General. That will not be easy, because to find the person which Trump and Putin and everyone, Xi and Modi and everyone else can agree to will not be easy. But at least we can look for a person like, say, U Thant from Myanmar, who led the United Nations in very difficult, maybe as difficult circumstances in the 1960s, and excelled, or Kofi Annan from Ghana, who was also inspiring the entire world by his personality and his messages. So there is hope for the UN, but we need to fix these major problems, otherwise the UN will gradually slide into irrelevance.
I'm going to take that hope and wrap things up there. Hope for the UN, and hopefully hope for the rest of us, and hope for climate solutions going forward. Please give a round of applause to our esteemed panelists today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.